Hello everybody, Adam Jastrzorski here. In this video, I'm going to give you a quick overview of a new tool that I created for using area models to represent multiplication. And this came about when I was preparing some number talks on multiplication using area models. And I was finding that the digital tools currently available out there were kind of getting on my nerves. So I made my own here to make my life a little bit easier. And I thought I'd share it with you too, in case you also find it useful. Now, it was made using GeoGebra, and you can access it using any web browser. I'll put a direct link to this tool in the description of this video. When you click that link, it'll take you to a screen that looks like this. And the first thing that I'd recommend doing, especially if you're displaying this to a class using a projector or an interactive whiteboard, is make it full screen. And you can do that using the full screen button in the bottom right corner of the applet. So I click that, and now I have the full screen display. As you can see, we have a rectangle already set up to represent a multiplication here, and you can change the dimensions of that rectangle by dragging the red point in the bottom right corner of the rectangle. So you can see the dimensions changing there. Now, you don't need to count those little squares to set up your rectangle with the correct dimensions. You can display those dimensions. To do that, just click the blue and white settings button here to show some settings options, and choose to show the dimensions. Now, those values are dynamic, so as you drag that point, you'll see the dimension values do change up there. So say we wanted to multiply 15 by 27. There we go. Now, you can zoom in or zoom out a couple of different ways. Easiest way is to just roll the mouse wheel. But if you're at an interactive whiteboard, that might not be an option. So you can use the zoom in and zoom out buttons in the top menu. Just click the button and then click where you want to zoom in as many times as necessary, or similarly, zoom out. Just make sure that once you've used the zoom buttons that you then click the arrow tool so that you can go back to moving things around on the screen. And the easiest way, one of the easiest ways to move things around here, is to just drag the background or drag the rectangle itself. You can also just drag the rectangle and its labels using the point in the top left corner here. That is a little bit different, and I'll talk about the difference between those methods momentarily when we talk about annotating this diagram. So some other things here, you can split up this rectangle using partitions, and you do that using the red arrow points in the top right and bottom left corners of the rectangle. You can have up to 5 horizontal divisions there, and up to 5 vertical partitions as well. And if at any point you want to reset those lines to their original position, the original state, you can just hit the reset partitions button right here. Now, if you only have one horizontal or one vertical partition, you can show the corresponding values by clicking partition lengths in the settings here, and they're dynamic. So you'll see that as I move this, those values for the lengths up top do change. So I'll split up the 27 into 20 and 7, split up the 15 perhaps into 10 and 5. You can move these around too. They are attached to the midpoints of the corresponding line segments, but it does give you some flexibility to kind of position things in a way that makes things easier to see here. Some other options that you have, for example here, what can we do? Oh, we can choose to show or hide these red points. Perhaps you're finding them distracting, so if I just click the points checkbox, they disappear. I can also choose to show or hide the grid, these squares here. Perhaps you don't want those, so you can get rid of them using that. I'll just keep them on for now. You can also annotate using the pen tool. So if I select the pen tool here, now I can annotate using my mouse, or I can use the interactive pen for an interactive whiteboard or a tablet or whatever, and that allows you to draw anywhere on this diagram. So for example, we might want to write in that this 10 times 20 here is 200. It's going to be a little bit messy. I'm just using my finger on the screen here. 5 times 20 is 100. 10 times 7 is 70, and 5 times 7 is 35. While you have the pen tool selected, you can erase, and you do that by holding the right mouse button, and then acts as an eraser here. Okay, so you can do that. You also do have an undo button up here if you want to just get rid of the last thing you did. So I'll bring back the 200 that I just got rid of there. And you can also at any point choose to clear all of the annotations using the clear pen button. That gets rid of all of the annotations there. Just note that when you do hit these buttons, it sets the the tool back to the arrow tool. So if you want to now annotate, you would again need to select that pen tool. I'm going to hit undo here just to bring those numbers back to show you one more thing. If you are interested in kind of resizing or repositioning things here after you've made annotations, the easiest way to do that is to just drag the background. Okay, so perhaps you want just a blank screen like that. You can zoom in or zoom out. If you do reposition the rectangle and these labels here using this red point in the top left corner, the annotations will not go with it. So just keep that in mind. But everything else will take the annotations with it, zooming in, zooming out, and dragging the background, however you choose to do that. So that is pretty much it. If you want to bring the tool back to its initial state, you can do that using the reset button up here. And if at any point you need a little bit more space on the diagram or on the screen here, you can always hide these settings as well. So I'll just hit reset and we're back to where we started. So I hope you find that helpful. If you have any questions at any point, please feel free to contact me. Take care.